Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something important for a lot of people listening. We're focusing on Indian F-1 students heading to the U.S. for the fall intake. It's a huge step. And our goal here is simple: to make that arrival, that whole transition, feel smoother, less stressful, and, more informed. We want to give you the practical stuff that really helps.
Exactly. Think of this as your roadmap. We've taken the key bits, the really essential stuff, from our detailed guide right here on Visa Verge. And it's so true that figuring out a new country, well, that process starts way before you even get on the plane. Being prepared makes all the difference.
Okay, so let's map this out. We'll kick things off with the journey itself, getting your flight right, because honestly, that first leg can really set the tone. Then we need to clear up the money situation. What you can carry, what you need to declare that can feel confusing. And finally, that really big step: finding a place to live when you first land. A safe, good spot. It's a full plan, basically turning those what-ifs into clear steps you can actually take. Okay, let's unpack this. First up, mastering that flight journey. Timing seems crucial. Our guide mentions booking, 2 to 3 months out, like May to July for an August or September trip. But is it just about maybe getting a cheaper ticket, or are there other real perks to booking that early?
Oh, definitely more than just price, although that helps. Booking early, it gives you much better odds of getting on the airline you prefer, maybe one with better service or luggage rules. And crucially, you get better itineraries. Think shorter, more convenient layovers, plus better seat choices, which, believe me, on a long flight like that is worth a lot. For tracking prices, yeah, Google Flights, Skyscanner, Kayak set up those alerts. But here's a really good tip from our guide. Check out Student Universe.
Student Universe?
Yeah, they often have special fares just for students. Could be a really good deal.
That's a great tip. Okay, so airlines. For that long haul, who are the main players offering a decent mix of, say, comfort without totally breaking the bank? What should students look out for with each?
Right. There are definitely some popular choices. Etihad often comes up prices maybe around 45,000 to 70,000. Indian students seem to like it, good service, and importantly, that 2 by 23 kilogram baggage allowance.
Two checked bags, yeah.
Exactly. Then there's Qatar Airways, maybe slightly more, 50,000 to 75,000 range. Very comfortable, usually a layover in Doha. Air India can be cheaper, 42,000 to 68,000. Direct flights to quite a few U.S. cities, good with baggage too. Sometimes the planes might feel a bit older, though.
Okay.
Lufthansa is another one, more premium perhaps, 55,000 to 80,000. Fast layovers in Europe, but you absolutely need to check the transit visa rules for that. That's key.
Good point. Need to watch out for that.
Turkish Airlines, also in that 50,000 to 75,000 bracket. Smooth flights, usually via Istanbul. Good food, good luggage policy. And Emirates, of course. Excellent comfort, great meals, maybe 55,000 to 80,000. Sometimes a bit pricier, but reliable.
So it sounds like there are good options, but beyond just the airline name, what are those, non-negotiable details, the things that make the difference between arriving, feeling okay, versus totally wiped out?
It's fascinating, actually, how these seemingly small things have such a big impact. You absolutely need to look for flights that include that 2 by 23 kilograms checked baggage allowance.
Right, the 2 suitcases.
Yes. And usually a 7 to 10 kilogram cabin bag allowance, too, paying extra for overweight bags right after you land. That's just awful. That allowance means you can bring essentials, maybe something comforting from home, textbooks even, cuts down on immediate stress and shopping. And the other big one, layovers. Really try to keep them under 6 or 8 hours. Any longer, and you're just adding serious exhaustion on top of jet lag. It's a really tough way to start.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Arriving feeling somewhat refreshed means you can actually deal with customs, find your way, and start engaging. It just sets a much better foundation. Feeling in control from day one.
Exactly. So planning ahead with the flight can save you money and a lot of stress right from the start. Makes total sense. Okay, perfect flight booked. But then comes the next big thing for many: money. Let's talk about the rules for carrying money from India to the US. This area feels like it causes a lot of anxiety. What are the actual limits?
Okay, let's break it down. When you leave India, the limit for carrying Indian rupees is $25,000. That's physical cash. For US dollars or money on a Forex card, there isn't technically an upper limit on how much you can take out of India under the liberalized remittance scheme rules, though there are annual limits for LRS itself. But the really critical part is a declaration rule when you enter the U.S.
Right, that $10,000 declaration rule. This is where it gets interesting and maybe a bit confusing. It's not just physical cash, is it? It includes the Forex cards, too. Can you clarify exactly what counts towards that limit?
Yes, this is the absolute key thing to understand and where people sometimes slip up. It's the total value of all monetary instruments.
All of them.
All of them. Physical cash, traveler's checks if anyone still uses those, and yes, the balance loaded onto your Forex card. So you could have $500 cash and $900 on your card that puts you over the $10,000 limit.
Okay, got it. So total value.
Precisely. Now, for practical purposes, our guide usually suggests carrying maybe $300 to $500 USD in actual cash. Just for those first few days, immediate needs, coffee, a taxi maybe. Yeah. And definitely have a Forex card. It's basically a preloaded travel card, often gives better rates. ICICI, HDFC, Neo Global, Book My Forex. Those are common ones students use.
Right.
Now, here's the critical part. When you arrive at the U.S. Port of Entry Immigration and Customs, if that total value we talked about exceeds $10,000, you absolutely must declare it.
How do you do that? Is it complicated?
Not usually. They often give you a form on the plane, the CBP form 60 or 59B, the Customs Declaration form. There's a section specifically about carrying currency or monetary instruments. You just fill it out truthfully. The crucial thing to remember is there is no penalty for declaring it. None. This isn't about taxing your money.
Okay, so why do they require it then?
It's mainly about transparency and preventing things like money laundering, following international financial regulations. They just need to know about large sums crossing the border. But, and this is a huge but, the penalties for not declaring it, if you're over the limit and get caught, they can be really serious. Confiscation of the money, big fines, potentially even legal trouble. It's a major issue you can completely avoid just by being honest on the form.
Wow. Okay, so transparency is key. Declare if you're over $10,000 total value, cash and cards combined. No penalty for declaring. Big problems if you don't. That's a really vital piece of advice. Don't need that kind of trouble starting out.
Right. Now, let's shift gears to maybe the biggest anchor for settling in, finding a place to live. Our guide mentions university housing, on-campus dorms as often the easiest starting point for the first semester. What are the upsides and downsides there?
University housing, yeah, it really is designed to be a soft landing. The big pro, it's usually fully furnished, which is huge when you're arriving with just suitcases. Utilities like electricity, water, internet are almost always included in the price. That simplifies things a lot.
It does. And often there's a meal plan included or available, so you don't immediately have to worry about cooking or grocery shopping in a new place. Plus, it's generally considered the safest option for newcomers right there on campus with security. Thinking bigger picture, it just removes a lot of those initial logistical headaches, letting you focus on your studies and adjusting.
Makes sense. What about the cons?
The main one is usually cost. On-campus housing tends to be more expensive than sharing an apartment off-campus. And the other big thing is availability slots fill up incredibly fast. So if you want on campus, you need to apply really early, as soon as you're accepted usually.
Okay, so convenient and safe, but pricier, and you need to be quick. That's a clear trade-off. But given the cost, is it always the go-to first step? Or do some students jump straight into off-campus living? If you do decide to look off-campus for like a shared place, where do you even start looking? That seems daunting from overseas.
It can feel daunting, absolutely. And yeah, many students do go straight for off-campus to save money, especially if they connect with roommates beforehand. As for where to look, there are actually quite a few good starting points. Facebook groups are huge for this. Search for groups like Indians at your university name or housing near university name. They're usually very active.
Okay, Facebook groups. Good tip.
Also, check for unofficial university WhatsApp or Telegram groups. Seniors often share listings or look for roommates there. Craigslist.com exists, and you might find listings, but you have to be so careful about scams. Seriously, be very skeptical.
Exercise caution there.
Definitely. Websites like Zillow or Apartments.com are more for renting a whole apartment, which usually requires a full lease, credit checks, maybe a U.S. guarantor, tougher for a brand new arrival. Not impossible, but harder than finding a shared room initially. Honestly, one of the best resources. Ask seniors already at your university. Connect with the Indian Student Association, the ISA. They often have housing resources, maybe even lists of available places or people looking for roommates. They've been through it.
Using that student network sounds key. Now, just to give people a realistic idea for budgeting, what kinds of rooms are typical in shared apartments, and roughly what might they cost per month? I know it varies a lot by city, but some ballpark figures.
Yeah, it varies massively, but our guide gives some general ranges. A private room, so your own bedroom, but sharing the kitchen, bathroom, living area might be somewhere around $500 to $800 a month. Could be more in expensive cities, less in others.
Okay.
A shared room, meaning you're sharing the actual bedroom with someone else, plus the common areas that's the most budget-friendly, maybe $300 to $500 per month per person.
Right. Cheaper, but less privacy.
Exactly. And then you might find studios sometimes, though less common, for initial sharing. There's basically one room that's your bedroom, living area, and kitchenette, plus a private bathroom. Those would be more like $800 to $1,200 a month or even higher. And two crucial warnings here. Always, always verify the lease terms before signing anything. Understand what's included, the duration, the rules. Number two, never send large amounts of money, like a full deposit and first month's rent, to someone you've only met online, especially if they're overseas. Scam alert.
That is such critical advice.
Yeah.
Never send big money up front to strangers online. Got it. So what happens if, despite your best efforts, your long-term housing isn't quite lined up right when you land? Is there a backup plan, like a temporary fix?
Yes, absolutely. It happens. The best temporary solution, according to our guide, is usually booking an Airbnb or a budget-friendly hotel near campus for the first, say, 3 to 7 days.
Okay, a short-term rental.
Exactly. It gives you a safe place to land, catch your breath, store your luggage, and then you can physically go see apartments, meet potential roommates, and finalize your long-term place without feeling rushed or desperate. And again, coordinate with seniors or your university's Indian student group. Sometimes they can help with airport pickup, maybe even offer a couch for the very first night if you're really stuck. It's about having that little safety net while you get properly settled.
That makes perfect sense. A temporary base takes the pressure off. Okay, we've covered flights, money, housing. To kind of wrap this all up, what are those absolute essential tips, like a final checklist from the guide, that every F-1 student heading over should pin to their wall?
Okay, let's boil it down to the must-dos before you even leave India. Think of this as your final check. First, book that flight 2 to 3 months early. Seriously, it helps with price and options. Second, keep your critical documents, your I-20, your US visa, in your passport, and that service fee payment receipt, keep them in your carry-on bag. Never unchecked luggage. You'll need them immediately at immigration.
Super important. Carry on only for those.
Absolutely. Third, have that $300 to $500 in US cash ready for arrival, plus your activated Forex card. Fourth, try to arrange airport pickup beforehand. Check if your university offers a service or connect with the Indian student group there. Landing in a new country is much easier when you know someone's meeting you. And finally, do your housing research before you leave. Start looking at options, contact seniors, connect with the ISA, have a plan, even if it's just a temporary stay plan initially.
That's a fantastic checklist. Each step seems small, maybe, but doing them all really adds up to a much smoother start, right? Less stress for you and probably for your family back home, too.
Exactly. Getting these initial steps right isn't just about sorting logistics. It's really about empowering yourself, building confidence from day one. It helps you make that huge transition, making a new country start to feel like home sooner. Think about how getting these practical things sorted early frees you up mentally. You can focus on why you're actually there, your studies, meeting new people, exploring instead of worrying about basics. It can really shape your entire experience positively right from the beginning.
That's a great way to put it. Preparation equals empowerment. Well, this has been incredibly helpful. Thank you to everyone listening who's making this journey soon. Truly, all the best.
Yes, all the best. We will meet again with another important subject in the next meeting.